All right, welcome back. This is going to be part 12 of my presentation on the flood and Noah's Ark. And before I give the introduction on what we're going to be going through, I noticed that I had made a slip of the tongue on my previous video, which was part 11, Arctic dinosaurs. I had stated that when I was talking about the area that we were in Alaska, I kept saying Antarctica. We were going to be just a little bit below Antarctica. So you heard me say that a few times. And so evidently I had Antarctica on the brain because I had mentioned it in that same video there. And so I try to catch myself. If I catch myself making a little slip like that, I'll usually put a little text in the video correcting myself. And so for those of you that might have caught it, when I rewatched the video, even after it was posted, I was like, oh my goodness. And so I'm sure somebody's going to catch it sooner or later and nail me on it. But I meant to say Arctic Circle, not Antarctica, not Antarctic Circle. And so, but going on. It won't be the first time. It definitely won't be, it won't be the last time I do it. And so it just comes with the territory. Any of you out there that done any type of significant speaking to groups and stuff, you will eventually make a slip up from time to time. It just happens. But at any rate, we are going to get into Antarctica on this video and several videos after this one. It's going to take a while, guys, because I'm on a rabbit trail on some topics, just really neat topics. And so those of you Bible believers and my creationist friends out there, you're really going to want to pay close attention to the subjects that I talk about from here on out when I'm talking about Antarctica. And so, because it's when I was going through my slides here, just trying to figure out how many I wanted to go through on this video. Wow. I believe I got a certain amount I'm going to cover. I think I got a good stopping point, but we'll take it as far as we can just for time's sake. And again, I don't ever want to rush through any of this information, any of it at all. And so, but anyway, let's get started here. This is Antarctica, and we're talking about the South Pole. And so now, if you'll notice that little picture there on the right-hand side, that is what the United States looks like to Antarctica. Now, I want you to remember that picture there because that's only a certain time of year that Antarctica looks like that to the United States. Antarctica is a massive, massive piece of land, but it even gets way bigger than that. And I'll show you a picture of that in just a minute. But let's go through some notes on Antarctica. The existence of Antarctica, believe it or not, was thought to be just a rumor until it was discovered, guys, listen to this, in 1820. In 1820, they didn't even know it even existed until 1820. The world's lowest yearly air temperatures typically is minus 126 degrees below zero. The lowest ever recorded was minus 135.8 degrees below zero on August the 10th in 2010. Now, August 10th is my birthday. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But at any rate, the minus 126 degrees below zero are recorded in late August. The regular low temperature is minus 40 degrees below zero. Average temperatures are 40 degrees colder than that of the North Pole. Now, you guys need to remember that. I want you to remember those temperatures now. It is going to be really key into a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about from here on out. I don't know of anything that could survive this, except maybe penguins. But at any rate, polar summer has the sun 24/7 for 6 months. It has the sun, guys, for 24 hours a day for 6 solid months. Now get this. In polar winter, it has darkness for 6 months, guys. 6 months. Remember this. Remember these key points here. It's really going to play into what we're going to be talking about. In summer, Antarctica is nearly 1.5 times the size of the United States. In the winter, it is 5.5 million square miles of ice that forms around the continent, enlarging it to the size of Africa. Now, to give you a little visual of what I'm talking about here, summertime, look at summer. Now, that is what Antarctica looks like to the United States in the summertime. Now, in the wintertime, this is what Antarctica looks like compared to the United States. Now, remember, it grows to the size of Africa. So I just thought I would just use Africa as my scale model. And so that is what Antarctica grows to be in the wintertime. Isn't that amazing? Now, this is the place that we're talking about here. And so a massive, gigantic area. Now, precipitation falls mainly as snow or ice, with occasional rain in coastal areas. Average yearly accumulations of 2 inches makes it one of the world's largest, driest deserts. Yet ice is piled 3 miles deep. Constant low temperatures, high winds, 200 miles per hour, and snowstorms that can last days and even weeks. The lack of moisture discourage all but the hardiest plants, which may be capable of active growth for only a few days per year. Now get that. All this is key. I want you to remember all this information. Now this is the polar jet, up to 200 miles per hour, the winds. And you can see Antarctica right there in the middle. This is a satellite image. And you can see the constant cold. It's constantly cold, guys. It never seems to warm up, ever. And now remember this. I want you to remember all this information. Now going back to Lindsey Williams, we talked about Lindsey Williams when we were talking about Alaska. You should remember him. Now, this is what he said. He said, it is interesting to notice that tropical ferns have also been found at the Antarctic. And the evidence of these two areas, Alaska and Antarctica, considered together, certainly suggests that there has been a dramatic change from a worldwide tropical climate to an Arctic climate. Now get what he says, within datable times. Now, let me go back. For those of you that don't know who Lindsey Williams is, maybe this is the first video that you've seen. He was an ordained Baptist minister for 28 years at the time the book was written, which was 1980. I have a copy of this book. He volunteered to serve as a chaplain to the pipeliners on the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline, which began construction phase in 1974. So this is who this guy is. He was around these guys that worked in these areas. And so I'm telling you, he has firsthand eyewitness to the things that were found. Now, Dr. Walt Brown, in his book, In the Beginning, great book. I highly advise it. I do know you can still get updates of this book. I think it's only in PDF form. The last one that I got was PDF form only. And he does like I do. All I do, guys, is work on my 3 main presentations, which is the dinosaurs and man presentation, the flood and Noah's Ark presentation, and the microscopic world presentation. Guys, that's all I do. Ever since the latter 90s, that's all I've been working on. And I think I'll constantly be working on this until the day I die. The Lord just calls me up and he's done with me. Well, that's what Dr. Walt Brown's done. That's all he does is center his attention and his work and research on that book In the Beginning. And he's always updating and adding to it. And it shows. It really does show. But what he says here, he says there are surprisingly large amounts of coal in Antarctica. Various expeditions found thick seams of coal and fossilized tree trunks near the South Pole. Some tree trunks were 24 feet long and 2 feet thick. Was it once warm enough for trees to grow in Antarctica? If it was, how could so much vegetation grow there? It is nighttime 6 months out of the year. Now, this is one of the trunk. This is a petrified tree stump that was found. And here is a picture of a tree stump, Right there, you can see it. Now look around, guys. Look all around. Do you see any trees growing? Not one tree. Now, this is some tree notes of what they found. Leaf impressions of trees found show mats of leaves, as if the trees had shed all at once, which is a sign of a deciduous or a seasonal forest. Tree rings were studied, and the rings showed an evergreen, which is a year-round tree. It's green year-round. An evergreen characteristic showed an evergreen characteristic, excuse me. The tree rings also showed that the trees grew in a tropical environment. Studies showed that ancient Antarctica forest may have been a mix of deciduous and evergreen trees. Now, for those of you that don't know what deciduous and evergreen trees are, you want to think of this. Think of this right here. Think of outside, those pretty leaves in the fall time. Like right now, it is fall, and it is absolutely just gorgeous. Sandra and I went on a hike just yesterday, and absolutely just beautiful out there. Well, the leaves are going to fall off that tree. That's your deciduous trees. Now, your evergreen trees, you want to think of your Christmas trees. That's your Christmas tree. That's an evergreen tree. It's going to be green all year round. And so that's what you think when you think of evergreen slash coniferous trees. And so now fossils of plants in Antarctica have also been found in Africa, Australia, India, New Zealand, and South America. The same types of plants. Now, this right here is the fern-like plant, Dicroidium, was found. And so that's a picture of it right there. And this picture right here came from a book entitled Footprints on a Frozen Continent. It's a secular book, and so now, and it was from the Beacon Sediments. And so, but this is a book that I got from one of the thrift stores that I will frequent whenever I go to places like Mount Airy or some of the places that Sandra and I will RV in. And so, but guys, let's stop right there. I've got 13 minutes into this thing, and so we're close to it. And so, but let's just stop right there. We're going to pick this up. This is exactly where I wanted to stop at on this video, so it worked out real nice. And so, but guys, we're really, if you're having a hard time with this information, get ready. Get ready to have your plates full. And so I'm not holding back anything. We are going to pile up your plates with information to show that this planet was much different, way different before the flood. And so, and scientists, secular scientists have seen this. And of course, they put the secular geologic timelines into it. And so, but interesting, fascinating stuff to show that the Bible is historically correct 100%. You guys take care. I love you. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.